Building a family emergency kit. So why does every family need an emergency kit? Well, it's really simple. When disaster strikes, you won't have time to think. You will only have time to act. From my experience as a senior infantry drill sergeant and an infantry soldier, when the compost happens and the chaos is raining all over you, you will fall back to the way you've been prepared and trained because you will not have time to think. And if you have not prepared, if you have not trained yourself, then you will become a liability, and it's possible that you and your loved ones will see better days. So start preparing now. Good news is that building a family emergency kit is one of the simplest and most effective ways to protect yourself, your family, and your loved ones. It also brings you together. That's right. You got a common enemy there, whatever it is out there, the earthquake, the hurricane, the wildfire, who knows? You have that common enemy and you're all coming together to fight it. That's always a great thing. What is a family emergency kit? Well, it's a bunch of stuff you put together. You assemble a collection of things that you can use to survive for at least 72 hours. That's where we're going with this right now. Just a 72-hour kit. It's not that expensive and it doesn't take up that much space and it's easy to move and transport. So we're going to be looking at a few things. We're looking at food and water for sure, first aid, communications items, comfort items, and maybe some special needs items. Now I'm going to preface right now, this blog post is really just a big checklist. Not only is the blog post a big checklist, but down at the bottom is a place to get yourself a copy of the checklist. So go down below, find that copy of the checklist, but I recommend reading it because I'm not going to discuss all of it. I'll touch on points, but I won't talk about everything because that'll just put you to sleep. Why is it important? Well, according to FEMA, over 60% of Americans are underprepared for emergencies. So that means 6 out of 10 people, probably more, 7 out of 10 people, have got their heads stuck up that orifice, don't know what they're doing, and they're going to be a hazard to you and your loved ones. Are you going to be one of those people? No, because you're going to do something. So, what are the things that are happening? Well, summer is coming. School is getting ready to get out. The heat is rising. So, we're looking at the hurricane season in the Gulf Coast and the southeastern Atlantic coast. We're looking at the wildfire season is coming. So, there's reasons you might want to have some sort of plan of action. So, we talked about the essentials: your food, your water, first aid, communications and lighting, and shelter and comfort items. Now, keep in mind that everybody in your family needs to be part of this. Doesn't matter how many people are in your family, they need to be part of putting this list together. And there's several reasons for that. Because you're unique, your family's unique, each member of your family is unique, and they might have specific wants or needs or desires. And it's best to talk about those things now before you need it than wait until it's too late and find out that you can't do anything about it. Okay? Especially for our kids. Now, our kids are smart, they're sharp. Okay. You never know what they're going to tell you. They might know things that you don't have any idea about, which could be beneficial. Not only that, by engaging our children, we're giving them a little bit of communication skills, some leadership skills, and we're listening to them. We're bonding with our children much better. You got pets, you got furry friends. Well, your furry friends rely on you for that food and that walk and that water. So you want to make sure you have parts, pieces in that kit for your furry friends. We want to keep things as simple as possible. Once we get our kits together, we want to keep it somewhere where we can grab it. If something happens and we need to leave the house very quickly, we don't have time to be searching for stuff. It has to be somewhere where we can grab it immediately, somewhere near the car in the garage, by the front door, maybe a small kit in the trunk of your car, a vehicle. Do you have a kit at work? Maybe a kit at your kid's school? It's up to you to think about. And keep in mind, you want to label these kits, ensure all family members know what they're there for, what they do, and how to use them. That does not mean we're talking about bug out bags. It's a different thing. So I'm going to bring that up right now. We're not talking about a bug out bag. That'll be a different post later. So once you build your kit, you want to make sure that things are updated. Now, your food and your water, here's a couple things to think about. You're using non-perishable food that you don't have to cook. You can basically open and eat. Real good. Of course, they do have a life expectancy at some point. Most canned foods will last longer than most marriages, though. Yeah, it's just the way it is. Water, water does not spoil. No, but that container it's in might get crushed, it might break, it might fail, and water can get everywhere. So what I do when I have my kits is I actually take that food and that water and I integrate it into the kitchen. So I'm eating this food and I'm drinking this water and I'm keeping a list of what I need. And every week I go to my grocery shop and I have here's my basic groceries and here's my mini mart groceries. That's what I call my kit, my mini mart. And I go put those things back in the mini mart that I've taken out and put in the kitchen that I'm eating. And that way I keep everything as fresh as possible. As my tastes change and my desire for different types of food change, I can address that as I go shopping. So we keep everything fresh, we keep everything readily available and edible. That's always a good thing. A couple other things you want to look at. Power packs, technology items. Okay. If the power goes out, that phone's going to go out. You need a charger or a battery backup or something to get it going. Cash and documents. That's right. Depending on the broad scope of what's happening, the ATM machines might not be working. So you want some cash on hand. My recommendation that you're going to do what you want, I do $1,000 a head. However many people are in my house, I have $1,000 set aside for that number of people. And I keep it hidden somewhere where I won't forget it because I know it's there. That way I can grab it when it's time to go. Keep in mind, though, that copies of IDs are important and emergency contact information should be saved offline, like in a little card in your wallet, in your backpack, in your go bag, in the glove box of your car. Because if your phone dies, the electricity's gone, that piece of paper doesn't die. You can still use it. And somewhere down here, there's some apps to look at. They're mostly weather apps. My favorite one is My Radar. It keeps you updated, real-time information on the weather in the neighborhood you're in. I particularly like it because it shows where lightning storms are. And I originally got it because I lived in Florida and there's a lot of hurricanes, and it has a hurricane tracker, which is real good if you live in an area that has hurricanes. So ideally, take the first step. If you haven't built a plan yet, now's a good time to start. Okay. Down here somewhere, there's a link that you can just hit that link and download a copy of the family emergency kit checklist. Now, keep in mind, this list does not include everything. You're unique, your family's unique. You might need some unique things in your kit. I have no idea what they are, so I couldn't put them in the list for you. But everything on that list are some things that you might look at and say, yeah, it's quite possible I need a can opener to open a can. Yeah. Oh, it's quite possible I could use some wet wipes to keep my hands clean. Yeah, those things happen. Roll of toilet paper. Yeah, maybe. Okay. So just keep that in mind. But since you're so unique and your family's unique, you're going to have unique needs and wants. So make sure you address those. And if you're watching this on the podcast, that link will also be down below somewhere, or you can go to www.emergencyactionplanning.com and see the entire blog and what's going on with it. This is Daniel. Till next time, please stay informed and stay safe.